The subject of today's speed draw will be panel 4 of page 5 of 7 Centauri. Now, this page has an incomplete panel. In fact, it wasn't drawn, it wasn't inked. And that's what we're going to take care of today. We're going to fill in that hole, and we're going to ink it and color it. So, let's get started. Since this is just a single panel that we're doing to finish the page, I printed out the panel with the word balloon, so I would have a reference for where I needed to do my composition. And now I'm just going over with just a plain old number 2 pencil and roughing in the characters and their locations. This is going to be scanned in just a moment, and I'll be using digital ink. So this is not final art by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, that collar on Alex's shirt is completely wrong, and there'll be a few other little minor modifications. Now that I got the rough in done, I'm going back over with the same pencil and just darkening up the lines so that I know, okay, this is a little bit more of a final of what I want it to look like. So just go through here, and then there we go. We have, in very short order, the completed pencil rough of this panel. Okay, the next step is going to be to scan this into the computer, and to do that, we're going to move over to the scanner. And we're using a piece of software called ViewScan, which you saw very briefly there. Sorry, that was very sped up. Now we're back in Photoshop, where I'm basically sizing the panel to get into place so that I have the right number of pixels. And then I'm going to load it up into Clip Studio Pro Paint. This used to be called Manga Studio Pro. And I'm using it because I like the pencil, the inking engine in here. It's much better suited for this than Photoshop. And I'm going over the pencil lines with a rough blue line, as you can see there. And now I'm going back over with the black ink line. And I'm having to go back and check my reference. So, oops, did the wrong collar design for Alex. But now we're just going over and just basically roughing, doing the final lines. Each character is on its own layer, so I'm not worried about what's matching up lines. Alex will cover up Lenny and so on and so forth. And now we're doing our bed and nab. And again, I had to go back and check reference on her nose because I couldn't remember exactly what her nose looks like. So got that laid in properly. The final step is going to be to put in some backgrounds because I didn't do any on the pencil. And now I'm just doing this to match the style of the other panels on the page. And I'm doing some rocks here. And this will all be saved out as a PSD file, which is Photoshop format, and then loaded into Photoshop. And the blue lines and red lines are all on separate layers, so those can be easily deleted, which I'm doing there. And that leaves us with, now we're back in Photoshop, and I'm pulling color reference from an earlier panel, and coloring in the mountains here, and getting those done, and then doing the ground, which will actually be a gradient. So I select my gradient, and there you go, boom, gradient. And doing some rocks. Each of these are on separate layers, so again, they can cover each other up. And now we go in and do the characters. And I have to look for some reference for our bed nab, and because the character was not designed by me, so I pulled the color reference from the original appearance of the character that Ian Sampson had created. And so I'm using that as my color reference, and there we go. We're filling in our bed nap, getting her colored, and her dress, and there we go. There she is. Got her ear taken care of, all that. Now all of that part that's not done, it will be covered up by Alex's rear end. So we get that in there. There's Alex. Alex, I already have color references for him and Letty. They have a standard palette that is stored in Photoshop that I keep handy at all times because I'm drawing them and coloring them all the time. And there's Alex. Oops, forgot his arm, his other arm, so we put that in there. Now I always do Lenny last because he's just one big blob of color, except for teeth and eyebrows and things like that. Now the next step is to go in and do some shading because I've been shading on the other characters on the other pages that have been colored. So now I'll go in and actually do that. The final step is to put in the tails on the text balloons, and now the page is complete. And there you go, panel 4 completing page 5 of Accidental Centaurs, 7 Centauri. Now this page will be posted up on Patreon for Accidental Centaurs Patreon members who have pledged a minimum of $5 a month. It'll be there exclusively for those smart and sophisticated folk until that story is complete. You can join them by going over to www.patreon.com/accidentalcentaurs and joining today. Just $5 a month, and that gets you new content. There's additional levels of membership with lots more goodies, and there's a $30 level which has Not Safe for Work Friday content. So these pledges, they support Accidental Centaurs and keep these speed draws coming. So if you're not a member, please consider joining up. I would really appreciate it. I'd also appreciate it if you'd click that subscribe button there on the YouTube page. That'll get you subscribed to the Channel Tachyon channel, and you'll be informed when new programming is added to the channel, which is pretty much every day. The Daily Crackpot, for example, is a short video blog that updates daily, and there's other shows that you'll love. So just click and you'll be joining all the cool kids on Channel Tachyon. Well, that wraps up this speed draw edition of Tips and Toons. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed getting it ready for you. So until next time, keep drawing.